Well, good morning, everybody. I guess it's 10 o'clock. So unless anyone objects, I'm going to call the meeting to order. And Amanda, would you like to call roll?
Amber.
Amber, I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. I can do that. Bill.
Here.
Byron.
Here.
Cassie. Cindy.
Here.
Kara.
Here.
Rita. Chris.
Here.
Carl.
Here.
Candy.
Here.
Mandy.
Here.
Paul.
Here.
Christina.
Here.
And then I believe we did hear from our commission liaison, Commissioner Russell.
Yes, I can hear you. I just can't get on.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm glad everybody's here. It looks like we're going to take care of some things that we cleaned up from last time and work on some stuff. We also, I understand, have some public comments, but I'm going to turn it over to Abby to provide some housekeeping.
All right, thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm going to take a brief moment just to introduce you all to Brittany Ramirez. She is our new Assistant General Counsel. She will be a great resource for you in all things open meetings, rules, etc. So we're very excited that she's here with us. So housekeeping, I know you know this by now, but we'll go through it really quickly. So for those of you in the room, just note that camera on the table is sensitive. It does pick up side conversations, so just something to be aware of as the meeting goes on. For those of you on the screen, which is most of you, it looks like most of you got your camera on. We do ask that you stay muted unless you want to speak, just to make sure that we can hear everyone. And so if you are a committee member and do not have your camera on, we do ask that you do that. And then if you need to speak, you can just unmute or raise your hand or both, and the chair will call on you. So that's all I've got.
All right. Well, thank you very much and welcome to our meeting today. Let's go ahead and start with the first item, number 4, and that's discussion and possible action to amend the January 6th meeting minutes. Is there any discussion or revision needed to the minutes? All right. Hearing none, we'll move on. Abby, I saw the one public comment. Is there any other public comment?
So you're right. We did get the one that Amber sent last Friday. We have not received any other public comment, but I'm looking around. So nothing here. This was the comment. If I can summarize it sort of briefly, I think that the overall ask here was to require a minimum of 8 hours of in-person education. Obviously, for non-agenda item comments, we don't have deliberations about it, but we can decide whether we want to add it for a future agenda item or ask questions as needed.
All right. Does anybody from the committee have any questions on it, or would anybody on the committee like to add it for a future agenda item?
I do. I'd like to add this to our future agenda item. I think it's a very good idea.
All right. Outstanding. Thank you very much for that. We will do that then, and we will move on. Hearing no other questions, we'll move on to item number 6, which is a staff date on the agency's licensing database project, and includes potential rule changes and process changes. Jen and Abby, I understand you're going to provide that.
Yes. All right. I'll give a quick overview. Thank you, Amber, for posting this this little one-pager here. I just wanted to highlight a few things. So we anticipate go live to be at September 1. And what are we going to do to train our providers? We are going to issue articles. We are going to host live webinars. We are going to post recorded webinars and provide instructional aids. And why are we going to put forth this massive effort? Because for our qualifying education providers, you will have 42 new online applications. That means that we are getting rid of 42 paper applications. We will no longer have to write checks for those applications. Continuing education, 15 new online applications. This represents all of our education applications. They have all moved online. And if you'll scroll down a little bit, Amber, let's go down to bonus. Okay, here we go. So what this looks like for you, those of you who are education providers, is a one-stop shop. You can do it all online. Our processing times we anticipate to get faster. This will be a more modern and efficient approach to submitting your applications. Components of applications such as timed outlines and content outlines and all of that kind of thing we built in to the system. And we are really excited about what this is gonna do for our education providers.
All right, it looks like Paul has a question. Paul?
Yeah, well, thank you, and good morning to everybody. This is exciting to see this. The question I have, and it's a suggestion I was about to put in writing, but it looks like Trek is ahead of me. You know, one of the things when it comes to recertifying classes is the whole thing of just having to start all the way from the beginning. Will there be some type in the system where you can maybe recertify a class without having to type up the entire application again? I don't think any provider disagrees with recertifying a class or even paying the fee associated with it. It's just having to redo the whole application when nothing is really changed.
Sure, that's a great question. I'm glad you brought that up. Yes, there will be a modified application for renewal online that will not require the provider to do all the steps. Now, it doesn't mean that there aren't going to be some. There will still be some, but it will not be the same as an initial application.
That is awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This is great.
So this is
All right.
kind of the cheerleader side, the rah-rah, and Abby's going to touch on how these changes impact some of our rules.
So I just wanted in light of that discussion and some of those changes that Jen just outlined, I just wanted to kind of give you all a heads up of some rule changes that you'll likely be seeing really probably over the next year or so, but starting at the May commission meeting. Now, I don't think really any of the changes you'll see are major substantive changes, but because of these process changes, you're going to see some cleanup in rules. So for instance, we have a lot of different rules that say in various different ways that, you know, to apply for something, you know, be it a course or a license or what have you, that there's really two ways to do it. There's a paper form version, and then there's an online process. So a lot of the changes that we're going to be presenting to the commission at the May meeting for proposal will be rule changes that say, you know, you use the process acceptable to the commission, so that we don't have the two options of paper versus online anymore. And because that's in so many places, there's actually quite a few rules being changed in May or being presented for change. But that's at the proposal stage. If they get proposed, of course, those will be up for public comment with the earliest adoption possible at the August meeting. So we're still a little bit a ways from that. And I don't think it'll be the end of changes. You know, as Acela, you know, we go live with it, we kind of understand or develop more efficiencies or change our process. I think we'll continue to see where the rules might be tweaked a little bit to adjust to those processes. But really just wanted to kind of give you a heads up of why are there going to be potentially so many rules brought forth to the commission in May. It's because of what Jen is talking about and the other changes that we'll see.
All right. Does anybody have any questions for Jen or Abby? All right. This sounds like we're coming into the 21st century. So this is a great thing. Will be fantastic. Let's move on to agenda item number 7, discussion and possible action regarding the following. And most all of this was on our agenda before, and then due to an administrative error, we went back and took it off and brought it back. So the first part is to consider subparagraph 535.60 on definitions, and that is to remove the proctoring requirement from the rules. So that would take that out. Let me go through all the parts and then we'll do the discussion if that's okay. The second part is 7B, section 535.65, and that's under responsibilities and operations of providers of qualifying courses. And what that part does is removes basically the photo ID requirement. It requires that the person taking the exam is the person who registered for the course. And then we go into section 535.70, which is more definition of removing proctoring. And we go into 535.72, which allows the student to take the course, the exam, non-proctored, but we must set up procedures to make sure that they ensure the student taking the exam is the student, and that they set up procedures to keep the exam confidential. Now, we originally had these rules at a previous commission for public comment, and then we withdrew them because we had a section in the rule that still required this to be a closed book exam, and obviously that wouldn't work without a proctor. So that's where we're at. Open the floor for discussion and questions.
And I'll just add one thing. As we've done in the past with these rules, because they do impact the inspectors as well, we will present the same changes to the extent that there are no further changes to the inspector committee at their April meeting as well.
Okay, understand. Candy?
Good morning, everyone. I just quickly clarify, I don't think we have anybody that's new, but we agreed on everything here. Byron thankfully found an error that we left out the closed book. There's no way to proctor having it a closed book. So my opinion, this is ready to go now. We've been there. We found the error. I'll just go ahead and throw a motion out that I move that we submit this as written to the commission.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion and second? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it passes. And Abby, I would assume you guys will prepare that for comment at commission, correct?
Yeah, so we'll also present this at the inspector meeting, which is in a couple of weeks. And assuming that group doesn't have any changes, then we would go forward, present this to the commission at the May commission meeting for proposal. So if they vote to propose it, it would go out for public comment, with the earliest ability to adopt would be at the August meeting.
Okay, outstanding. All right, now we'll move on to agenda item number 8, which is discussion and possible action regarding future agenda items. And we already have one item, and that is on the public comment, suggesting that we bring back some in-person education as an agenda item. Other agenda items. Candy, your hand's still up. I don't know if you have a list of them for us.
I don't have anything. It doesn't show that it's raised. I'm sorry. Trying to unraise it.
There it went. All right. This may be the shortest meeting on history.
And I'll
Byron?
just Another thing that you'll have to discuss is any comments that we've received on these rules. So you'll have the in-person education and then any comments that we receive if these are proposed as well.
Okay, outstanding.
I will ask a
Byron,
question.
okay.
Me to go or Byron?
Byron,
Go ahead.
Byron, go ahead, Candy.
Okay, I'm sorry. Jen, is there anything from your department that you would like us to work on?
Not yet, but that will be forthcoming. We're gonna, we have the Arello mid-year meeting next week, I guess. And I'm doing some work with their education certification committee. And I'd like to bring some things back to you, but need a little time first.
Understand. All right, Byron, then Cindy.
Oh, Candy beat me to the punch. That was exactly my question. So thanks,
All right.
Candy.
Cindy, then Paul.
Thank you. I was just wondering if there's anything that we need to address with the sub-agency issue that's in legislation right now.
There's probably nothing at this point. One thing I was kind of toying with is because our next meeting will be in July, obviously the session will have ended by that point, and we may have some updates to share with you from a legislative change perspective that we could add to the agenda as well, just based on what passes and what we need to do, if anything.
Okay, outstanding. Paul?
Am I jumping the gun on commenting on this public comment about the in-person education?
Well, we can't discuss or deliberate it now, but we will add it for the agenda for the next meeting. If you
Okay.
have questions about it, we can talk about that. But because it's not on the agenda for open meetings purposes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good question, though.
All right. Any other possible agenda items? It sounds like we'll have a full meeting in our next meeting. That being said, our next meeting is currently scheduled for Monday, and we're moving to item number 9, discussion and possible action regarding future meetings. Our next meeting is proposed for Monday, July 7th at 10, followed by a meeting on Monday, October 6th at 10. Is there any reason those dates do not work? All right, this may go down in the shortest meeting that I've been in 5 years. With that being said, I move that we adjourn.
Well done.